Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. On this channel, we talk about problems people face in their day-to-day lives. Let's start with a video.
Hello, Reddit. I'm just any regular guy in his mid-30s working 24/7 while struggling and having a disastrous mental health. I will get straight to the point, as I too don't like people who talk too much in the starting paragraph. So here we go with this crap. As I said, a normal guy. Everything normal and more. But yeah, the thing is, I have been married before this once, and that crap didn't end up good. I'm drunk, venting here, like I'm not drunk, but I can feel the kick of it because I needed someone to talk to. So yeah, typing it here now. Making friends is too hard for a 34-year-old, and this is the best place ever. I first married Anya when we were both 23. She was the love of my life, and honestly, I always thought we would always be together with each other. But I was the only one who thought that. I'm happy with my life now, but not like before. Those were the days where I was in love with living life. She was there, and we had friends, and now everything is gone, including her. And then, too, she has the audacity to come over to my house and ask for help. She thought I am the same old stupid guy who was blindly in love with her and the one she kept using just literally for no reason. We were high school lovers and went to the same college and took the same major. We used to be around each other all the time. We have literally seen each other grow up and eventually give each other our everything and dream to spend the whole life together. But she had bring someone else in between. She always said I was the only one she wanted, but no, she didn't mean it. It's been 7 years since we divorced, and all the wounds are still fresh as grass in spring. I don't know if it's the alcohol which is driving me crazy, but it sounds so miserable that she did all that to me. Okay, I'm done venting. Now, let me give a clear picture to what happened. Me and Anya were married, and she cheated on me with my then best friend and blamed it on me for not being good enough for her. After everything, we divorced. It took me 5 years to move on from, and I was so hurt that I had to go complete no contact with her for my own reasons of staying sane. Then again, it was really hard for me to kill every part of me which loved her, and now I'm out of it. Started my new life again, worked on myself, and married the best girl ever. She's 28. We lived life together. It gets hard sometimes with me because of my poor mental health, but she remains patient. We go to therapy together and live and love peacefully. Everything is so easygoing with her. She is everything I wanted Enya to be. There is no comparison, but my wife is the best girl on the planet, and I am completely fond of her. Yesterday, my ex-wife showed up at my door. When I wasn't there at home, my wife knew about her, but she let her in and attended her as our guest. She said she thought of not opening the door, but she wanted to get over her thing as quickly as possible, so she'll be out of the picture. They talked, and according to my wife, she did sound fond of our relationship that she didn't remain faithful in and abused me. After they talked for a while, she mentioned how she was suffering from brain cancer and needed some help from me in regards to that. My wife is a real softie, and she won't turn her worst enemy down if they were dying, so she grew more and more sympathetic as my ex-wife kept telling her about what she was going through after the divorce, and the way that she exaggerated our relationship was out of the box. She would literally tell lies about how I disappointed her and how she was the only one putting all effort. Also said things like how jealous she was of my now wife, that I take care of her like a queen, almost like I didn't do all those same things for her as well. She just had a good lying, bluffing session about me in my own house, and I am mad at my wife for not kicking her sorry ass out. When I reached home in the evening, my wife kept on calling me and telling me I needed some as soon as possible. And when I did, the biggest disappointment of my life was sitting in front of me and sipping coffee like she didn't just ruin my whole life for 5 years back to back. I was really furious at her presence and started cussing her out. I know this is no way to talk with a girl, but we are talking about a really evil woman here. She cheated on me and then abused me, broke my nose, and I had to get 4 stitches on it. And when I started getting happy, she comes again and tries to ruin it. I threaten her, and I will call the cops on her if she doesn't leave. And when I reach out for my phone, my wife tells me that she has brain cancer and we should hear her wants and try to fulfill them. I'm just surprised at my wife. Like, what's wrong with her? That girl broke your husband and you were okay with her? But then she calmed me down and I came to a listening stage and kept my distance in case she would start breaking my nose again. I can still remember the pain I had to go through. She tells how she has brain cancer and it's in her last stage. So she would want things from me. First, to forgive her so that she can once again be accepted by her family. And the second is for me to lend her a huge sum of money for her treatment. For one moment, you can assume that I would pay her, but the whole forgiving thing is just not happening. A little background on why she was talking about her family is because we were family friends since we were kids, so basically our family relationships also went bad after the whole divorce thing. Her family was disappointed in her and just were disgusted at her for cheating and then beating me up under the influence of drugs. She has stopped doing drugs, according to her, but I don't care. I'm never forgiving her, and it's up to her family who they want to side with. If they want to think of me as a bad guy, then I don't care if they can. And about them forgiving her, I don't care more, but they would definitely lose all their relationship and bond they have with me. Like, I have this thing not to have any mutual relationship with anyone who is related to her. I don't want even the slightest amount about her presence in my life. After I refused, my wife looked at me completely disappointed and started to tell me things like how it has been 5 years and how I should just stop holding this grudge and let myself free so we all can move on and that poor girl can get her family back. Like, bro, how her own family not wanting her my fault? It's their call, and my call is to forgive or not forgive her. And for my own mental sanity, I won't be forgiving her. That's honestly what happened till she started crying and weeping, throwing tantrums about how I owe her this much and all that crap. Then, finally, she started getting violent. My wife got so scared of her and hid behind me. Her ex used to abuse her all the time, and her getting triggered is something I don't want her to go through, honestly. She has very bad reaction to violence. Even the slight action scenes in movies when they start fighting triggers her and she gets scared really easily. So seeing her like this scared me. I couldn't think straight because of my own fair share of mental trauma and I pushed her. She hit the table and fell over. I called the cops and ran out of my house with my wife, and when they arrived, she accused me of throwing her to the table and assaulting her. And now, in all these, I am the bad guy. My lawyer came and made a settlement, but I don't agree to that. I did nothing but just defend myself, and I ain't paying for that shit. It's all now a wild mess, and I don't know how to get out of it. My wife is still shocked after everything happened and blames everything on herself. It's not her fault. She doesn't understand it. I hope it all goes better. I don't know, to be honest, where this thing will go for. So, a week gone by then, and everything has taken turns for the worse, and good too. My wife is more closed off and thinks she's bad for my life when she is the best thing ever happened to me, and we have decided once this legal matters are done, we're going for therapy and have a vacation, fall more in love with each other, and be safe within each other. And we are trying for a baby. As for Anya, she is long gone and we are suing her. I told her family about the whole incident and some knew it from Reddit. I feel so mad at her that I won't be able to explain it to her, and my ex-best friend reached out to me. He was easier to forgive because he was drunk when it happened, so Anya was the one who was in the wrong. And he told me that how she ended up with some broke homeless hipster and is still into drugs, and when we did further check up on her, a close friend of hers told that she is in debt and doesn't have any chronic diseases. She lied yet again. It's plain said to be her. We won the case, and that's the update. OFC, I will go into details. We sued her. We proved that she was the one who started getting violent. She confessed it when my lawyer was questioning her. She gave it out herself. She is on restraining order and her family don't want her anymore, no matter what. We won. She didn't deserve to win. It doesn't hurt, but it sucks to see someone who you grow up with throwing their life away. She had too much debt. That's why she started all this drama, to get money out of me. She is gone now, and it is much better. We are working on us and our life. We are good now. The update is everything I swear she got what she deserved. And she sounds like she needs help. And take yourself and your wife to therapy too, buddy. Everything will be fine. OP, you did nothing wrong. Slapping her in that situation wouldn't have been wrong either. Self-defense is okay. So, for a little bit of background, my biological dad has had this continuous habit where he gets with a girl for 2 to 3 years, gets her pregnant, breaks up with her, promises to come visit his child, then never does and completely ghosts her. He began doing this when my eldest half-sister was born and has been doing it ever since. In total, from what I know of, I have 6 other half-siblings. Anyway, moving on. The reason I said I didn't know if that was the total amount was because me and my bio dad just recently started talking, and I haven't been able to meet most of his girlfriends up until a week ago. My dad called me and told me he wanted me to meet his new girlfriend, since they had been dating for a year. So I said sure, and we planned everything out, time, date, etc. On my way there, the thought struck me. I need to warn her, about my bio dad's habit. So fast forward, I eventually got there, and about 4 of my other siblings were there, which was surprising, since he usually didn't invite his kids to his house at all. Anyway, while my siblings were talking to my bio dad, I pulled his girlfriend to the side and basically explained his habit, and that I thought it would be in her best interest to not have a child with him. She was kind of shocked and embarrassed that she didn't see it sooner. I assured her it was normal and that he was basically a pro now. Couple hours passed. I decided to leave because my siblings already had. I say my goodbyes and go home. Next morning, I woke up to 23 missed calls from my dad and 8 voicemails. Basically, all of the voicemails said I was an a-hole and that I ruined his and hers relationship. I ended up finding out that they had gotten into a big fight over it and his girlfriend broke up with him. Honestly, I was happy that she did. She seemed like a nice person, so I'm glad I could at least save one person and their child from having a childhood and life like me and my siblings. But some of my siblings agree with my dad and say I shouldn't have overstepped boundaries and that he was probably going to tell her anyway, so AITA? My dad's blocked me on all messages, calls, and social media platforms. My siblings that are on his side continue to console him and bring it up constantly. I've told me and my siblings' mothers most of what happened because they called me and they're on my side. I've tried to talk to that certain group of my siblings, but it's like talking to air. My dad's girlfriend got a pregnancy test, and thankfully she isn't pregnant. I'm going to try showing my siblings this post, but so far there's nothing I can really do. NTA, he's a loser, deadbeat, who frankly needs to be fixed. You and your half-siblings should all do ancestry DNA tests and see if you find any other siblings out there. Oh, and hire a lawyer to sue your sperm donor for child support. What you did was bold, but ultimately that woman will definitely feel thankful for what you did when she looks back on this in hindsight. Yeah, some may argue you overstepped your bounds, but then again, most of those people probably aren't women, children that have been impregnated, abandoned by an absolute selfish prick. Seems like you did the right thing overall. My uncle has been married twice. First marriage was to my Aunt Lee. They had Darcy and Milo together. Aunt Lee died when Darcy was about 12 and Milo was 9. 2 years later, he met his second wife, Rebecca. Rebecca was a mom of 3 kids under 4. Both were looking to make a new family. Darcy and Milo weren't happy with so much change in their lives. Darcy had been pretty vocal about not being ready for her dad to get married again, and she was especially vocal about not wanting a thing to do with Rebecca's kids. She told everyone who would listen that she wasn't going to pretend that she loved them or that they were her little siblings. It was such a sore spot between them. Then Darcy died about a year into my uncle's marriage. Her death brought a lot of tension with it. My uncle and Rebecca went into making up stories about how Darcy had loved her little siblings, Rebecca's kids. He told us all that they never needed to know that the day she died, she had told him she wished they weren't part of her life. All this led to Milo speaking up and saying he was wrong and that my uncle could not make them love Rebecca's kids. In time, Milo cut my uncle and his family off. I think he only speaks to me and one other mutual relative. That's it. He's now happily married and a dad, but has no desire to reconnect. My uncle still tells his now adopted kids about Darcy and how much she loved them. The lies have grown. They ask about Milo, and he tells them Milo is just hurting without his sister and that when they're older, they can all have a relationship again. They believe everything he tells them, even now that they're all older, teens, young adults. My uncle learned through someone, but I'm not sure who, that I have kept in touch with Milo. He wanted me to help him get in touch, and I said no. He told me they need to talk before one of the kids reaches out to him. I told him that his lies are going to come out sooner or later, and maybe he should consider putting an end to it all now. He told me it wasn't my place to threaten him. I said it's not a threat, but sooner or later lies always get found out. Some of my family think I should have just walked away. AITA? NTA, you didn't sound threatening, just giving some sound advice. You're under no obligation to provide your uncle with any information regarding your cousin. That would be a breach of your cousin's trust. Kudos on how you handled this. NTA, your uncle was harassing you and trying to make you betray someone's trust in a very significant way. You were well within your rights to tell him what you did. I guess you could have been non-responsive and decreased the drama. I'm sure your family just doesn't want to deal with the drama, but they're way out of line to blame you for it. This is all your uncle's doing, and his lies are irresponsible and contemptible.